really bizarre ability to just knock people completely unconscious with one shot. And a lot of times people don't realize who has it or doesn't have it until either you see them hit something, like you see them hit a bag, or until they hit you. And Dan Henderson's got it.
He definitely does. What do you, besides the obvious conditioning, like when you look at guys like Dan Henderson or Roy Nelson, who it seems like these guys who can hit so hard just kind of rely on that one punch after a while. And why has Henderson been so successful, and a guy like Nelson seems to really be struggling a lot lately?
Well, first of all, Nelson is overweight. And Nelson could easily be fighting as a middleweight. So he could be fighting in Dan Henderson's division. No bullshit. That's not an exaggeration. Wow. Like if you looked at Roy Nelson's body and said, okay, I'm going to get you to the right dietitian, and we're going to straighten all this out. We're going to get you to your optimal weight, and we're going to have you fighting at a weight that's really the best for your career. It'd probably be 185. You know how fucking crazy that is?
Wow. What is he now, 260, 250?
He's probably about 245, Jesus. 250. But, out of that weight, you would cut 30 pounds of useless fat, like, really quickly. And then he's down to, 220, somewhere around then. So if he's down to 220, that's what a lot of these fucking guys are before they cut weight and start getting down to 185. So then he starts to, if you just look at his frame, then he starts to really concentrate on eating healthy and doing a lot of cardio and making sure that he watches his calories correctly. Then you're bringing him down to like 210, right? Now he's 210 and ripped. 210 and ripped is what a lot of these guys that fight at 185 are. They weigh about 25 pounds more than that. And then they dehydrate themselves. They severely restrict their caloric content and their caloric intake. And then what they do is the week before the fight, they slowly dehydrate themselves down. Then the last day or two, they really dehydrate the shit out of themselves. They get to the fucking door of death, literally. And then they step on a scale. But Chris Weidman's a good solid 200-plus pounds. So's Luke Rockhold. Luke Rockhold's even bigger than that. Weidman actually lost a little bit of weight. He got a little leaner. Like some guys decide that it might be better to be leaner and to have less mass to lose because they can perform better inside the octagon. My point being that Dan Henderson is fighting at a normal weight for him, whereas I think that Roy, as talented as he is, I mean, his ability to compete as a heavyweight is astonishing.
Yeah.
I mean, he is this guy who I knew Roy from back in the day. He was a successful jiu-jitsu competitor. That's kind of what everybody knew him as. He was just a really good grappler. And to see him all of a sudden become this heavyweight knockout artist is kind of crazy. But Roy could easily be fighting as a light heavyweight, easily at 205. And I think, honestly, if you sat him down with a guy like Mike Dolce or something like that, or a George Lockhart, someone who's an expert in weight cutting, I bet they could say that they could get him down to 185 if he listened and they gave it a year.
And it's funny because we had Eddie Alvarez came in and sat with me a couple of days ago, and I was surprised to learn that we were talking about Conor and going up in weight. Eddie was like, no, he just cut less to fight Nate than he would have. And Eddie said that he walks around at 182, if I'm remembering correctly. And what does he fight at 155? So
yeah.
Is that really what is happening with guys like Conor? Is they're just cutting less and staying at a higher weight?
Yeah, 100%. Conor's never 145 pounds for more than a few minutes. I mean, that's when he makes the 145-pound weight limit, it's super dangerous and it's super temporary. I mean, he looks terrible when he's weighing in. So to call him the 145-pound champion is, it's kind of ridiculous that they still do this, that everybody dehydrates the fuck out of themselves, gets on the scale, and then does it, in a way that they can replenish enough fluid so that 24 hours later they're in a cage fight. It's fucking retarded. It's like one of the dumbest things about the sport. And the fact that everybody does it is crazy. It's insane. It's completely insane. But when you're dealing with like the elite of the elite, it's almost necessary because very few people can compete at their walk-around weight because the other people are dehydrating themselves so much that when you're competing against a guy who, might be 3-4 inches taller than you, might be a natural 15, 20 pounds heavier than you.
Right.
It's just too much of an advantage. It factors in.
What do you think? It's funny. I didn't realize they were doing earlier weigh-ins. So I'm like, why the fuck are guys jumping on scales in their sneakers? And then I was like, oh, it's probably earlier weigh-ins. How much earlier are they doing the weigh-ins? And what do you think about the early weigh-ins and also the not allowing them to hydrate with IV?
I think the earlier weigh-ins are good. I think the not allowing them to hydrate with IVs is bad. I don't like that.
Oh, I thought you were for that. Okay.
No, I think not allowing them to hydrate with IVs, it makes it dangerous because you have a less. See, there's a lot of debate about this, and a lot of people say that it is more effective to rehydrate orally than it is to rehydrate with IVs. My concern is not just rehydrating, but also rehydrating the brain. I think one of the big issues with the weight cutting is that it takes more than 70 hours for your brain to rehydrate. Now, I haven't seen anything that shows that it's more effective to rehydrate with the brain orally than it is to do it with an IV. I think pretty much most people feel like the best way to rehydrate the brain is with IVs. If that is the case, and I'm not sure it is, but if that is the case, then I think that it's kind of silly to ban the IV. To ban the IV, the good thing about it is that somehow or another it's supposed to be able to prevent people from using PEDs because you can use the IV to mask PEDs, I think, in some way.
Really?
So the fact that it's keeping drug cheats from being able to compete while they're on steroids, well, I like that aspect of it.
It's really weird to see Jones out again, and all these people. Who else just got? Chad Mendes just got popped. What are these guys fucking doing? And I asked this to somebody else too. When they know USADA is taking samples, what are people thinking to do anything questionable now that they know that they're more than likely going to get caught?
That's a good question. I think with a guy like John Jones is just a wild motherfucker. That's what I think. And I think that's one of the reasons why he's so goddamn good. I think he's a wild dude. I think he likes to party. I think he gets crazy. And I think he makes bad decisions sometimes when he's doing those things. And I think that's exactly what we're looking at. I think John has made some pretty critical errors in his life. And this is a big one. Whatever the fuck he took or why he took it, I don't know. I mean, I've heard all sorts of speculation. John hasn't talked about it. No one's released whatever the supplement was or, whatever it was that could have possibly caused him to test positive. It's super unfortunate, though, because it's happening to one of the most talented guys ever in his prime. And they're going to remove him from the sport for like 2 years. And then when he comes back, oh, fucking Christ, man, all the shit that he's going to have to deal with and the pressure and the stress. And you saw that pressure and the stress that he was under when he fought Ovin St. Preux. And then the financial drain, taking away his ability to make a living during the prime of his career. There's so many things that are happening to him right now that are really, really unfortunate.
Yeah, 2 years, a long, long time. And when I saw him in the lobby of a hotel with Matt, actually, and Dean Thomas, we were just chatting for a minute, and he's like, hey, man, I'm hoping for 6 months or whatever. But have they given him the 2 years yet or no?
No, I don't think there's been a sentence yet. I mean, yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't mean, he took something, allegedly, something called clomiphene. And what clomiphene is clomiphene is an anti-estrogen. It's like an estrogen blocker.
Right.
And guys take it when they've taken steroids to recycle their endocrine system, to get their endocrine system fired back up again. That's one of the ways to get your body to produce testosterone more efficiently is to take an estrogen blocker. And so some have speculated that that's because he was on steroids and this is what he took to try to get his system back in order. Who fucking knows, man? The problem is all these goddamn supplements that people buy from like GNC and, Muscle Build 5,000, these things that they sell at, with vitamin stores, a lot of those things have fucking steroids in them. A lot of them. A lot. Like the USADA page, if you go to the USADA webpage, they detail. I had Jeff Nowitzki on the podcast, and he took us to the page. We could go over all the different supplements that are currently containing and have been proven to contain steroids. It's fucking crazy. There's hundreds of them. Hundreds and hundreds of different things you could buy off the shelf that have steroids in them. So if you buy something, you go, oh, this doesn't have anything illegal in it, I'll just take this. This might help my performance a little bit. This might give me a little bit of an edge. There's a lot of those things that people take that turn out to be banned substances, unfortunately.